instaMERSION.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome to the next episode of I Am Talk. We have my very good friend, Tanisha Souza, one of the owners, partners of Tardus Wealth Strategies. And oh my gosh, I could just rant all day or rave all day about just, just this invention, this vision, and you actually implementing it to be able to form not only a company, but to help many, many people financially build passive streams of income.
Yes.
And so, Tanisha, I just want to thank you for just your time and just coming on the set today.
Well, thanks for inviting me. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So if there's anything that you're probably most well known for, it's the Income Snowball, right?
Yeah.
And so if you could share just a little bit about what the Income Snowball is and what is that all about?
So the Income Snowball is basically where it's a system that I created. I actually have a patent on it.
Yeah, and how did you get this creation? Was it just something that you had a financial background, or you?
No, actually the entire opposite. So I used to be an attorney, and my practice was mostly litigation and employment law. So I had no background in finance. And if you would have asked me 20 years ago, 30 years ago, actually, I would have said you're crazy if you thought that I'd be doing what I'm doing right
Sure.
now. So I went the total opposite direction of math and that type of thing, and that's why I went into argument, which is the practice of law. And the only thing that really got me into this whole field of investing was our own personal need to become financially free. I was super stressed out in my career as a lawyer. I thought it looked like fun. I grew up on LA law and things like that. So when you watch TV shows like that, you tend to think, oh, that's what I want to do.
It's not quite the same thing what you see on TV
No, not even close. Not even close. So it was super stressful, and I was looking for a way out. And a friend of mine, my best friend, actually gave us the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Ah, classic.
Changed everything for us. I mean, really changed everything. It was like I knew that we were being pointed in the direction of we needed to create enough passive income so that I didn't have to work. First, we had to pay off student loans, so we did that, and then we went ahead and did that. So once we started getting into the whole idea of creating passive income through investing, that's what enabled me to come up with the idea. So we created the passive income. I didn't have to work anymore, and then we started our business, which was a mortgage acceleration business. Wow. We were a franchise, and so we were teaching people how to pay off mortgages early. We didn't have a mortgage, so it's kind of ironic. We were teaching people how to do something that we weren't doing, but we were investing. We were creating a lot of income. So at a later point, we ended up buying the franchise out and going full scale into wealth coaching. And that's when I came up with the idea of the Income Snowball. It was, we were doing some pretty radical things, and we thought, maybe it's not so radical. Let's see if we can make this work at scale. Let's do it first for ourselves.
Absolutely. Well, it is radical in the sense where I believe a lot of people, like common people like me before I was a Tardus client, all I did was save and work and save and work and save, and that really got me nowhere, right? But that's usually the common mindset that the common layperson has, right? In order to advance. I don't even want to say that's even true advancing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, one thing, and we're super proud of you because you did. You were just such a great client.
I just did everything you guys told me to do. literally. I just said, okay, it was a little. There was some education, but the learning, the things that we implemented were more mind-blowing.
Yeah, and you just did a really good job. So I think.
What's Chris doing over there?
So I think one of the main things though that got us into this whole idea was, again, first it was necessity of us learning how to get free.
Right.
And then once we did, starting the business and then thinking, how can we help others get free? Because paying off mortgages is great, paying off debt's great,
huge,
but you still got to work.
Yes.
Still have bills to pay, right? Being debt free is step one, maybe, but why not do both at the same time? And that's really what we were out to show people how to do. So that was money gets really fun. I think a lot of people are afraid of investing. They think it's really too hard. They think I have to day trade. I've got to do all this stuff. And it's a lot easier than people think. And they can do a better job. I'm telling you, I really believe that the average person can do a much better job investing than handing all their money over to someone else to invest for them.
Yeah.
There isn't anybody that cares more about your own money than you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
what I appreciated about Tardus being a client was just the education that I got through the coaching as I was just learning and watching videos and actually being able to implement the strategies where, none of my coaches ever took my numbers or got into my accounts, but they just said, hey, we're going to teach you how to do some techniques, and you're actually going to implement it yourself to the point where you're going to start seeing results and having full access and management control, rather, right? On my own. And so can you speak a little bit about maybe the education side of it? Because this isn't common everyday things you learn in college, or there's not a lot of classes for stuff like this, right?
Well, there aren't any. Well, that's how I was able to get the patent, is that it is an unusual system. It's not something that in fact, when I first started talking to people in the industry, the financial industry, about it, they were like, what are you talking about? How do you do that? So, and these are people that have been in the financial industry for decades, you know, and so it was very unusual for them. But one thing that I think is really interesting about the education, the coaching, and here's some really new things that I think a lot of people don't know that we've been doing, is we have a system of setting goals every single year. So you'll have a financial freedom date, right? That might be 6 years out into the future, 8 years. Most people can't reach financial freedom in 40 years. But we can help them do it usually in like 8 or 10 or maybe 12. So whatever your financial freedom date is, then what we do is we map out a specific strategy to exceed that on an annual basis. And so it's a number of things. So read this, watch this. So there'll be videos you watch, there'll be books that you'll read, and then we'll check to see, have you done those things? Once you've actually executed different strategies, and let's say that your strategy, that what you want to do are things like, I'll give you an example. We have a client who wants to take a month-long vacation to France, right? So this couple, they're going to take a month-long trip to France, their honeymoon. They got married this last year. And then they're going to pay off one of their rentals. They have about 4 or 5. They want to fund an infinite banking policy. I mean, there's like so many things that they're doing, in addition to creating more income than we put out for them. So it's a tall order to do in 1 year. So we've completely mapped out step by step what they need to do every single week, what the videos they need to watch, what they need to do, all of the things are they going to fly first class? Are they going to fly coach? Are they going to take tours? What are they going to do on this trip for a month? Which hotels are they going to stay at? Who's going to do it?
All this freedom to make these decisions.
And so they work with their coach and mapped out a complete strategy for what they're going to do each week and make it. And it's amazing. So midway through the year, we check to see where they're at, and then we do it again at the end of the year and plan the next year. So it's great.
Amazing. How would you describe the Income Snowball to, just the common person? Because the mindset out there is working, saving, but to actually see this whole different wealth system, as I remember you calling it.
So I was going to give an analogy because I want to explain it in a different way. It's kind of like the way I see grace, sort of. It's like you don't have to work and save. You actually, your money's working harder than you're working. Wow. So it's like your money works and you rest. Your money works and you rest. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool. So, but we call it momentum income stacking, right? Where you're creating this passive income. You're utilizing a certain type of investment to start, and then you start layering on longer term investments. So shorter term investments that pay more up front, and you're using, combination of arbitrage, just a lot of different strategies. You stack that income on top of each other because you're creating that income monthly.
Yes.
And once you do that, you're able to purchase more faster. And so it's unlike just buying real estate where you can buy all the real estate you want
Sure.
later without any of your own money, actually, because these investments will pay for it for you. But initially, what you're doing is you're utilizing a little bit of your own cash flow, but all of these other systems to stack that income. Most people don't know that short-term amortized income exists.
Yes.
They don't even know what it is. And so that's one of the key factors that make it work from the beginning. So it's a fun thing.
We were talking a little bit earlier about just the misconception where for people to at least start to accelerate their finances, that they need a lot saved or they need a lot to put in. But is the income snowball for anybody, or do you have to be at a certain financial level?
I would say it works for the vast majority of people. Like I said, I think a lot of people think, I'm not good with money. I don't know how to invest.
Sure.
We show you how to do all of that. The key is you need to have a little bit of extra cash flow. And sometimes with people that don't have any to start, maybe they break even, maybe they have a little bit, a couple $100 extra a month that they're putting in savings or applying extra to a credit card. We can make that work, and we can actually find more cash flow for them. So we'll utilize dozens of other strategies most people overlook or didn't know existed to try to get them that extra cash.
Yeah.
Once they have that, usually about $800 to $1,000 extra to start, we can use that and a little bit of leverage, right? And you have to be careful using it, and that's the reason why
there's responsibility that comes.
There's a
with
lot
that.
of responsibility with that. So you have to be very limited in what you use. We can show you through the calculator what to use there. You don't necessarily have to use it, but you're going to go faster and you're going to make more money if you do.
Yeah.
So so there's the arbitrage and the cash flow. But we help you find it. So you don't have to disqualify yourself. That's the key, right? Because we've had people that are like, I probably can't do it, and I have a lot of cash flow. They meet with our coaches, and then now they've got an extra $1,200 they didn't know they had. So it's
so
great.
Good. There's a certain type of discipline that's required, as you were mentioning. If you were to get leverage or if you were to borrow money, you can't just go, let's say get a HELOC of $100,000 and say, okay, well, now I can get my dream boat all of a sudden, right? What are and I guess that's where the coach comes into for the accountability, making sure that the client is able to stay on track, be able to stay within certain spending parameters or whatnot.
Well, so part of it too is it's a different mindset, right? You're used to doing things a certain way. It is a kind of a radical shift in how you do things and what you do with your money. So we can give you instruction and say do X, Y, Z, but if you don't know the why behind it and you don't fully understand, you're going to do half Income Snowball, half the old way.
Sure.
And it just doesn't work.
No.
Or you're going to borrow too much money, you're going to throw it out there, and you're not going to be able to pay that.
You're actually probably going to put yourself more in trouble, right?
Exactly. So it's I actually personally don't believe that anyone should be out there using leverage without a wealth coach, without a financial coach. Once you are clear what you're doing, maybe you can go out on your own and do things. But I mean, gosh, we made a lot of stupid mistakes. Before, I'm not kidding. I wish we had a coach when we started. We made all the mistakes so that you guys don't have to. So I could tell you some crazy stories about about just a lot of mistakes. I used all of Chris's life savings. He had $30,000.
Wow.
We maxed out all of our credit cards for an entire year trying to flip a house. We had no idea what we were doing. I read books on it. You can watch videos, read books, and think that you're an expert. And we screwed up royally, but we still we're really blessed in how it turned out for us. But it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I'm sure you can probably testify looking back at it, even though you made those mistakes, it's kind of like you were able to take your pain points and make sure that, hey, future people that you do get to serve, they don't have to repeat those mistakes that you've already made.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, what's an example of somebody where maybe they're at the tipping point, maybe they are doing the working, saving thing, and they're thinking, hey, everything's going super well for me.
That's good.
Yeah, but what's the tipping point for them to be like, no, actually, this method, it's okay, but it can be better, and actually I have, all the more confidence to say, no, I'm going to go full on and to be a Tardus client and actually receive coaching.
Yeah. So, I think there's a lot of people who are satisfied, with the status quo, and they think, well, I have, $30,000, $50,000 in the bank. I have, I've got some good cash flow going. I've got some money in my 401k or my or whatever. The thing is that there are no guarantees that what you're doing is going to continue working. And also there's so many variables that you have zero control over, right?
Absolutely.
So if we're looking at your money in the stock market, and I'm not saying don't invest in the stock market, what I'm saying is that how much control do you have over the fund manager? How much control do you have over the companies that the fund invests in, right? How much control do you have over the economy? Because as soon, or whatever, as things change, the value of your portfolio goes up and down, and it's not providing you with any income right now.
Absolutely.
So our whole objective is giving you more income right now. And that's what everybody needs. Everybody needs, I think, not just more money in the future or money in the bank. They need more income right now. And our clients see that additional income in 45 to 60 days, right? And then it just keeps compounding and getting bigger and bigger.
Wow.
So so that's the reason why they need to do something. Here's what's interesting too. In 2020, when the pandemic hit, we saw a huge influx of new clients.
Wow.
Which you wouldn't think would happen because there were so many people losing their jobs and their businesses and all that kind of thing. But I think there were a lot of people looking at us for a long time and then thinking, oh shoot, maybe the income from my job isn't, I shouldn't just rely on that. Or, maybe I shouldn't just rely on my business income. And anybody that only has one stream of income, especially if it's active income, that's income you have to work for. That is a very big risk.
Huge,
Yeah, and that's what I learned from Robert Kiyosaki, because he was, that was a big thing for me there. It was kind of like, you don't have to. You might love what you do. You might love your job. You might. I didn't, but you might, right?
But you do now, right? You do now.
Oh, I love what I do now. I mean, this isn't even work, But if you might love your job or you love your business, and might be really good at it, but there are so many things, and I think these, those years really, I'll call them the pandemic years or whatever, but I think they really opened the eyes of people. I know, even myself included, I think there were a lot of things that people thought they had a lot of control over that they didn't. Business owners whose, restaurants were shut down for months or even over a year, and they didn't have another income stream, had to rely on the government. What we want to do is we want to empower people so that they don't have to rely on anyone. They don't have to rely on the government. They don't have to rely on,
a pension or
this retirement account that may or may not be there.
Social Security, right? All these different things that aren't guaranteed, right?
None of it is.
But I love what Tardus taught me in terms of, at first I thought, oh, is it just one investment that I'm doing? And it's actually, no, it's actually this whole wealth system that you're creating by having multiple income streams from this whole wide gamut of investments, and real estate being one of them, social lending, your self-directed IRA, the list goes on and on and on, right? And so I just love how, and I think you're always saying this too, where the way that you set it up is where you have your assets paying for your liabilities, right?
That's the key.
I just love that phrase. I love that. Could you expound upon that a little bit more?
Yeah. So one of the things that Chris and I did, which was unusual, I think, is that we were renting before we started, before we bought our house. So we bought our assets before we bought really anything. We owned cars. We had them. They were older. 1989. I had a 1989 Volkswagen Fox. Chris had like a 1987 or 5 like Mustang or something. So we had these old cars, but they were paid for, and we had no debt. We had no credit card debt, no student loans. We paid everything off, and we were just renting. So we were paying, I know it's going to sound outrageous, but we were paying $1,000 a month renting from Chris's dad. So he had a house that we're renting. and which was very reasonable, but we fixed it up and we did, we put a lot of money into it
Sure.
because it's family, right? Family house. So we were buying buildings. We had a bunch of income streams. We had purchased multiple streams, the multiple investments that were paying us, and before we bought our home. So the home is a liability.
Yes.
I think most people don't realize that.
Yep.
They think their home's an asset, but it's not. So since your home is taking money out of your pocket, even if it's paid off, you're still going to have property taxes and insurance to pay. Right? You don't pay those property taxes, someone's going to take your house.
Yes.
So, or your maintenance fees or your association dues. So you're still going to have something taking money from you, unless you do something like what you're doing here and turning it into, you know what I mean? Or renting out a room in your house or something like that. So I think the thing that people have to realize is those are liabilities. You've been told by the banks that those are your assets, but they're really liabilities. Why not let your passive income from your investments cover those payments for you, right? Then if you do lose your job for 6 months, if your business is shut down for a year, you've got enough income from your investments to cover all your bills. You don't have to worry.
You're not going into panic mode thinking that it's the end of the world or you have to get another job or whatnot, but you have these other things that are helping take care of that loss, which might be temporary, right?
Exactly.
I'm sure you've, how many clients is a Tardus serving right now, and what's an example? I mean, I'm sure you have many testimonies of just these outrageous stories, right? Of
so many stories. So we've helped thousands of people over the years, and a lot of people are completely financially free, which is phenomenal.
Yes.
I can't tell you, it's we're so blessed to do what we do. But I think
is there one story that just really stands out for you, or I know that's
well,
question.
So there's so many, but let me give you one that was. So we have a client whose stream of income is managing vacation rentals.
Wow.
So they have a vacation rental business. He makes a lot of money doing that. Okay. Fortunately, so that was 100% shut down, right? Of course, during
no vacation, no travel,
no travel. So, but during that time, they had already created it was like $18,000 a month in passive income through their investments.
Yeah.
So did not miss a beat.
Yeah, they can still vacation while their business is shut down.
Well, there was no place to vacation, but
they stay at home on vacation.
right. But they didn't. I mean, it wasn't like they couldn't pay their bills, their mortgage, nothing. I mean, there wasn't anything they couldn't do. Normally, they're able to use that income, right? And actually, next year, he's going to be financially free. So he's going to reach financial freedom next year. So imagine a year of no income, all that stuff, having to live on that income and still meeting your goals.
Sheesh.
I mean, it was
unheard of.
Yeah, that's a pretty. I'm very proud of that one. That one, he was a little bit stressed out too, and I'm like, dude, there's no reason for you to be stressed. But I think it was everything that was going on, and just kind of what's going to happen, and that's kind of a natural feeling, but. He said, Tardus has been a lifesaver. So,
yeah, and I just love the legacy aspect of it too, right? Where, we're trying to build this system, not only for our own lives, where we're thinking about kids and the generations, like the next generations, right? And wanting to set them well, not only financially, but actually being able to pass on that education too, right?
Absolutely. We do that with our kids. Our girls are 13 and 16. And, my 16-year-old was like, Mom, will you teach me the Income Snowball? And this is like a couple years ago. And I was like, yeah. So anyway, because I thought if I can explain it to a teenager, at least the basics so they kind of understand. I mean, there's certain things that they still don't understand yet because they don't understand credit and all that and everything. But I did explain it in such a way that it was really funny the way I explained it. I was using an example of a convenience store. So I said, okay, so let's say that you go to the convenience store and you buy Snickers. and you know that you can sell those Snickers in your convenience store. You buy a box and it's maybe it costs you $10. You know you can sell them for $20, right? The whole box for $20.
You're teaching them arbitrage.
Right. This is
what arbitrage is.
And so I said, would you do that? And she's like, yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Right? You sell them, you double. This is we see people doing this at Costco all the time, right? They go there and they sell it for more. And so she said, yeah. And I said, now what if you could instead of using your last $10, what if you could borrow $40 from your credit card?
Yes.
And buy $40 worth of Snickers and then sell them for $80 and then pay the credit card of $5, whatever the interest is,
I can
right?
just see light bulbs going on here.
She was like, oh, no way. She was like, is that legal, Mom? I'm like, yeah, it's legal. What are you talking about? So, but anyway, I mean, obviously we're not doing that, but it's similar.
Yeah. I mean, that's the idea, right? Where,
Yeah.
You're breaking down something that might seemingly seem very complex, but actually, if you really get down to the basics, it's not a hard thing, right?
Yeah. So she's understanding it now. We're actually getting them more involved in the business, which is fantastic. They enjoy it. They're really good, smart girls. So
wow, we're whittling down to our last few minutes. I wanted to give you a little bit extra time because I know you and me we can talk a lot, right? Because there's so much good stuff to share.
Yeah.
But I just want to give you a moment to address the camera in front, and this is just your time to shine.
Okay. Well, I guess I would like to give people a little bit of advice. I think if you're thinking about, a little bit of advice. If you're thinking about buying a home or you're thinking about buying a car and things like that, nothing wrong with those things. But one thing you might want to consider is create some passive income to pay for that. And if you've already done that, if you already bought your house and you already bought your car and you don't have passive income to cover those payments, now is the time to start. Why not prepare in advance? A lot of people are worried about, values of the dollar and things like that. And the best way to prepare yourself for things like that is to create multiple streams of income so that you can afford more when things get more expensive. So it's always better to have more money than less in those kind of situations. So start now, don't wait. I would suggest check it out. See if you can get a strategy session with one of our wealth coaches and see if this will work for you, right? No obligation, just check it out. And we'll give you even one of our free mini courses as well. Yeah.
So awesome, Tanisha. I want to thank you for your time and also thank you for pouring into me, you and Chris, being able to, not only coach me through all these years. And actually, I was able to work with you guys for a few of those years too, right? But my testimony is that we wouldn't be doing what we're doing, being able to be more involved in ministry, which doesn't pay that much, but having all these other sources of passive income so that we're free to do what we love to do, which is to serve and help people and then enjoy life a little bit too, right?
Yes,
without any guilt or without, I just really want to, again, thank you for coming down, and I'm looking forward to, I'm going to leave some information in our description box below. Tardus's website, how to contact Tanisha, and how to get, it's a strategy session, free strategy session that you can see where you're at financially so that they can help you achieve your goals and give you some options, right, in terms of how the Income Snowball can help get you to earlier retirement, right?
Yep, absolutely. Don't disqualify yourself. Check it out. See if it'll work for you. Yep.
Well, thank you again, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right.
instaMERSION.
I would love to thank you for hanging out with us here on I Am Talk. Hit the subscribe button to stay in tune with our channel. Oh, and don't forget to tap that bell icon to get notifications on the latest episodes coming your way. We're always looking for the next guests to talk story with here on I Am Talk. So if you just shoot me an email at alex@instaMERSION.com, I'll be sure to shoot a guest application your way. Well, guys, it's all for now. Until our next episode of I Am Talk, this is Alex, and I'm out. Peace.